Put it up. Bang with me, or you die with me.
I'm glad I didn't start the recording.
I'm sorry.
All right. All right. So let's go ahead and see what we are going to be doing today. So today is day 3 of MySQL, and let me share the streaming link first. Streaming. So we'll do kind of like a revision and then look at some of the larger data sets. For now, we've been looking at smaller data set like 5 rows or 10 rows. Today we'll look at relatively large, but it's not extremely large, like a 5,000 row database, right? We'll see how to import those and how to query and actually how to work on write queries that work with larger data set. For large, in our class right now is 5,000 rows. That's what we'll be working on. But during the class, you will see that some people struggle with 5,000 because of software. Sometimes somebody's computer freezes up, so we also have a data set for 1,000 rows. But start with 5,000 and we will go through it. So we'll import some large data set, then we'll run some interesting queries and try to see how do we get the data back. Okay? Before we begin, what I would like you guys to do is we'll do a quick revision, make sure we understand MySQL, we are able to write queries, and then we are able to connect from our Node.js app. Okay, it's a really small app or a really small table. So let me open this README file and maybe Troy can send Slack out the instructions and I'll start over here. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to just create a small table really quickly, just one column. Well, two columns. One would be a primary column and one would be your looks like a name column. Okay, so we want to create a table with two columns. The first one is an ID. The second is name, a text field. So call whatever you want. All right. Then we are going to connect that table from our MySQL and make sure everything is working. Well, you can insert like 3 rows. So I'm going to create a table of school or colleges. Okay. And then it's going to have one primary key, which will be an auto-generated ID. Okay. And then one would be a text field. I'm going to call it name. All right. And then we are going to go ahead and insert some rows. And then we will write some code and just write a select query from our Node.js code. Okay, so you guys also go ahead and start on this one, and I'm going to start on this one as well. So either you can follow or you can look at it. Just make sure everybody is comfortable, understand what's going on. Okay, everybody understand what the goal is?
Yes.
Got it? Create a table. It's connected from Node.js. And then as we are going through, I'll kind of introduce some new tools so that you guys can make use of those too. So let's go ahead. Let me start my MySQL. Let me make sure my server is running. So I'm going to go into my system preferences. I usually close out my connection, so that's why. Okay, it's not running. And if you guys haven't messed around with this one, so you don't have to worry, it's probably already running. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and start my SQL workbench. All right, by now everybody has MySQL running. There's no issues, right? Right?
Not that I know of.
Okay. All right. All right, that's good to hear. Okay. So it looks like I'm in my database. Everything looks good. I'm in my local host. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new database table. So I'm going to create a new database. Let's see, database of schools. Let's make it more interesting. What happened? Oh yeah. I'm googling. Yeah. Oh, I'm typing in the wrong screen. All right, so You guys don't have to wait on me. Please go ahead and create a database. I already told you the specific and create a database with two columns. So create database. I'm gonna call it. Oops. That is what I'm going to call my database, not wired. That's right. All right, create database. Let's go ahead and create one. Success. I'm going to refresh this. Okay, I'm going to double click, make sure my database is selected. Otherwise, you can use the use keyword. All right, so let's go ahead and create table. Let's call it schools. Okay, semicolon. All right, so I created a table. The next thing I need is to create columns. The first one I said is going to be an ID. So ID integer, and then it's going to be auto incremented. Auto increment. Oh, there it is. Okay, let's say it not null. I don't want this to be null ever. And the next one is a simple, let's call it name. Maybe keep it var char 100 characters. Okay, and let's make this also not null. Okay. Last thing I need to do is designate a primary key column. So my primary key is going to be my ID column. Okay, and this should take care of my creation of my table. Okay, let's go ahead. I'm going to run this. Success. Refresh. Okay, and my table is there. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm going to insert some rows in it. I will use the insert query. So it is insert into my table name is schools. Okay, and what column am I inserting in? Name. I don't need the ID because it's auto created. Values, so this is going to be varchar. Okay, now let's go ahead and insert Hogwarts oops, can't spell. Wizardry. Okay. I'm going to insert. Okay, this was successful. Let me go ahead and insert a few more. 3 rows it said. So insert into schools, name, values. So that DOM strength. Institute. Okay. Let's go ahead and insert this one, and let's go ahead and insert the 3rd row. Insert into schools name. Okay, let's go ahead and view baton. Let's go view Okay, so this should have 3 rows, and I'm going to go ahead and run my select query to make sure. Select star from schools. Ooh, select star from schools. Okay, looks like all my data is there. I have an ID and I have a name column with all the names of the schools. Close this out. Okay, everybody good? Okay, the next thing, yes, Karen, you have a question?
I'm getting a bunch of like red squigglies online.
What are you getting?
A bunch of red squigglies online. Like saying, doing exactly what you're doing, but I'm not getting certain colleges.
Which query?
Check your semicolons. You know, got 'em.
Which query?
So, if you want to create people,
All right. So Troy is going to help him out. Anybody else? Yes. What's the issue? What's the error?
underneath primary key.
Uh-huh.
So I put ID, there's like a recipe.
So did you put a comma over here on before this?
Oh. Never mind.
All right. All right. Anybody else?
No, it's always our fault, and I figured it out.
Of course, it's your fault. That's it.
For sure.
Works now, yeah.
All right. So next we are going to do is we are going to create a Node.js app and then connect it to this database. All right. So let's go ahead and do that. Open up the documentation if you want, or look at some of the previous examples. All right. So let's go ahead and create. I'm going to create a. So I'm going to create a Node.js app. The first thing I need to do is install MySQL. So let's go ahead and okay, so I'm in the right folder. I make sure, yes, that's where I want to install. So npm I or install MySQL. Okay, it's going to go ahead and install MySQL for me. All right, looks good. I'm going to close my terminal, start my. I'm going to create a variable. Let MySQL is equal to require MySQL. Okay. Now I'm not doing anything, but I'm still going to go ahead and run this code to make sure there are no errors. This tells me that my import of MySQL is successful. All right. So I'm going to do node schools.js, and as you see on the screen, there is no error. So this means my import for MySQL is working. Okay. So that is good. The first thing I need to do is create a connection. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and create a connection. Let connection is equal to MySQL double variable dot create connection. Okay, and create connection takes an argument, which is an object. All right, and this object we saw takes in few properties. The first is host. If you leave it blank, it should still take as localhost, but I'll go ahead and define this. The second one was port. Default port is 3306. Your username. My username is root, and then my password is password. So I'm going to put this password, and the last thing is, what is the last thing required? Database name. So let's go ahead and give it a database name, otherwise it doesn't know which one to connect to. And I'm calling mine wizard underscore schools db. Oh no, yeah. So wizard underscore schools db. Wizard underscore schools db. Okay. So this is my connection. So I'm going to go ahead and create a connect. I'm going to call the connect method to see if this connection is working or not. Okay. So I called it connection. So I'm going to use the same variable connection dot, and the function is connect. Okay. And what does connect take? It takes a callback function with an error. So use a callback function and an error. Okay. So I'm going to write if condition. If there's any error, don't proceed. Throw that, log that error so that we can see on the screen what's going on. So I'm going to log the error, and the next thing I'm going to do is return so that it doesn't proceed from this part of the code. Okay, if it comes after line number 23, this means everything was good, it was successful. So I'm going to log the connection ID. I'm going to say successfully connected as ID, and let's go ahead and give it an ID of connection dot thread ID. Okay, this is what we saw on Saturday from the documentation. So we can go ahead and run this code and see if this is successful or not. So node schools.js, okay, successfully connected as ID 10. So my connection is successful, but you see my cursor is kind of still expecting something, and the reason is I did not end my connection. So that's why we don't go to the prompt again. All right, so to stop this, I do Control C, and this will kill the session. Let's go ahead and end the connection as well, so that it's not open forever. So connection dot end. Let's go ahead and use this one. Let's I'm going to ignore the callback function. So I'm going to run this, and then you see I come back to my command prompt because I ended the connection. Let me go ahead and close this so that you guys can see this. All right, any questions? Everybody get what's going on? Okay, simple, making a connection, connecting to our database. Everybody good? Any questions before we proceed? Okay. All right, you guys are getting it. Please just don't start typing it blindly. All right, you guys understand what's going on, right? First make a connection and then call the connection function. All right, so the next thing we have to do is we have to go ahead and run our select query. So what I want to do is I want to get all the rows that I inserted in my database in my Node.js code. Simple. Okay, so we have to write our connect query, our select query. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and create a function first, and I'm going to call it get all schools. Okay, and in this function I'm going to write my select query. All right, so the method name was query. Okay, so go ahead and let's call this function, and this function we'll use the two argument one. The first argument is the query, and the second is the callback function with the results. Okay, and how many arguments is it returning? Anybody remember? 3. Error, result, and fields. Remember? Okay. Error, results, and fields. Okay. You can ignore the fields. We saw that, but as a complete method, this is what it returns. We can ignore the fields part, but error and results is really important. Okay. So let's go ahead and complete our query. It's going to be the same query: select star from schools, Okay, this is the same query that I wrote in my MySQL workbench. Select star from schools. Okay, if this is successful, it's going to return me some data, but let's go ahead and check if there is any error. So I'm going to go ahead and console log that error, and then I'm going to just return. I don't want this code to proceed any further because there was an error. Okay, if there was no error, let's go ahead and console log our results, and then over here I'm going to end my connection instead of doing it right after the connection. Okay, so I'm going to go back and remove the connection end over here. Instead of that, I'm going to call my method that I just created, get all schools. Okay, so I created a method. In that method, I'm calling using the MySQL Node.js method called query. All right, query takes in 2 or 3 arguments depending what the query is. This is a simple query that does not take any input or anything, so that's why I'm using the 2 argument one. The first argument is the query string, select star from schools. The second is the callback function, which will have error or results. Okay, if there's any error, I'm saying stop over here, don't proceed. Otherwise, go ahead and log the results. Once you have logged the results, go ahead and cancel the connection. Okay? Yes?
So you can't just say console log error, you have to put that return afterwards?
No, you can just console log, but what's going to happen if I don't put that return?
Then if it's asynchronous, it might just move on?
No.
Okay.
No, the async part is already handled. Why? Because this callback function is going to be called after you get the results back. So that is handled. So if there's an error, it's going to console log, then line 36 does not exist. So what's going to happen? What line is it going to go on to then?
And then it'll log the results?
Yeah. No. Yeah, because if you don't have this return statement, what's going to happen? It's a sequential over here. It's going to go, there's any error, it's going to log the error, then it's going to go ahead and try to log the results, and results will be undefined or null. And then it's going to try to go and end the connection and all that stuff. Okay? But that's not what we want to do. We don't want it to proceed any further if there's any error. Just stop over here.
Okay.
Right? It might be a good idea to end the connection anyway, so you might move this inside this also, because if there's any error, log that error and end the connection. That might also be better. But I'm just going to end the connection once it is successful. Okay? That's the point of using the return statement. So let's go ahead and run this code, and this time I should see 3 rows back, and that's where it is. So I have an ID and I have the names, and all 3 of them are coming back. All right, questions? Everybody good? What's going on?
Yes. I'm with you.
Okay, who else is not with me?
Who is not with him? Speak.
Laura, you're good? Okay. So what part are you on? Okay, are you getting any errors?
Eggs in one basket.
Is it working for you guys?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, when I see the class right now, it's like Matt, George, and Britton are like the judges, and everybody else is like sitting on the side. That's what I feel like. I'm like standing in front of the judges. Did I do right? Did you guys get it?
Daniel, this is just another interview.
Yeah, that's what I exactly. That's what it looks like.
Daniel, is it
Yeah. Look at that. There are three. That's what I'm saying. That's what it looks like. Matt, George, and Brendan are sitting.
It's like the very last one.
It was giving me error, but now.
But it's like once we update the actual
Okay, so you're successfully connected.
database.
Hit Control C.
So
So you scroll up there, stick your line, you get scroll You don't need to set up another connection. You're fine. So just so just use the delete bracket. You gotta call your function right. So that's just to create like another instance of MySQL. So you don't need to do that. What you do to create a database is you do create database. So what you do is
Yes. What is it?
just
Scroll up like this. Oops.
so you can just rename that.
like there's also burrito and also
Connection?
You can name it
just ask your tacos.
Good.
Is if you have nothing like this one
Every
over
time you ask
here.
for super spicy, that's
If you highlight it,
I eat that burrito super
you will create
Yes.
and then just hit
Shit. Okay. Made it even funny. That was it, man. Now every time I drive by that place, there's no heroin.
All right, one more minute, and then I have to show you a few things.
no, because these are
I don't know.
because that's the one that's why I use it every class. This can use.
I don't know why. Oh.
And then there you go.
Oh, it's one that's fairly
Oh.
And then if you're
like in there,
you right next to them, all the other.
There we go. I've realized everything in my SQL code is a small
Function.
not a wild west.
And that's why Danielle always knows that it's like something that we just completely forgot.
Yeah.
Of this.
Go back and check that dumb thing that you forgot.
Some of this type or something like
That's
that.
not how I say it. I'm missing the keyword dumb.
So you're thinking
That's how my brain interprets.
Go back and check your code that you wrote. No, it takes some practice, especially with the typos. All right, let's look at couple of things. These are some things that I've found, so I'm going to just share with you guys. The first is, you guys notice in activities, schema.sql or seeds.sql file. Okay, so what is the definition of those two files is, you're writing these queries, but when you close or when you close out this screen over here, these kind of disappear, right? They're not persistent. So for that, we create couple of files, couple of .sql files, .sql files, and the purpose is you can save them in your GitHub so that somebody else wants to create a database. You're working on a project, you already have database created, and one of your group members would like to create the same database. They can just go to your GitHub and look up those .sql files and then run them. Okay, so let me go ahead and create a couple of SQL files over here. So the first file, by standard we call schema.sql, and this file has all the SQL queries that will create a database and table for you. Okay, again, by standard it's called schema.sql. You can call it anything you want, abc.sql or anything, but by standard, when a programmer or developer sees schema.sql file, at once he or she understand that this is the file that will create a database and a table for me. Okay, so from our SQL workbench, what are the queries that create a database and a table? These 8 lines. Okay, that's all. So we are going to copy these and then put it in our schema.sql, and that should be it. Okay, so I'm good. So next time you put it over here, go ahead and upload it to your GitHub. This file will always be there. So next time, let's suppose your database got messed up, you want to go back and recreate it. You don't have to go back and keep writing these queries. These are there, and you can just copy. The first way is just copy these, put it in your workbench, and rerun them, and your database will be created. Okay. For example, let's go ahead and add the drop one also so that we can run that. So drop database if exists, and so what I'm saying, whenever somebody runs this file, if there's a database, delete the database and create a new one. Okay, that's what goes in your schema.sql. The second one is called seeds.sql. Again, the same concept. You can go ahead and name anything you want, but by standards, when a developer sees a SQL seeds.sql file, this means this file has all the queries that's going to go ahead and insert data in my database. All right. So what are the queries that insert data in your database? These are the insert queries. Okay, so go ahead and copy all of the insert queries. Okay. And let's go ahead and put over here. Since we were in MySQL, we were double clicking that and we were able to create insert rows. But if you are just running this file, this won't work. So we need the use keyword, use, and we need to tell which database to use. We need to use this database. All right, everybody remember the use keyword? All right, this tells me. So now I can go ahead and just copy this, paste it, and run exactly like it is without any changes. These two files, and I'm going to have a new database created. Is that right? Right? It's the exact same thing. If I run this one, it's going to drop my existing one, and I'm going to be able to recreate that one. And then I'm going to run my seeds or SQL. It's going to use this one, and then it's going to insert 3 rows. Okay? So just an example, let me go ahead and remove everything. I'm going to go ahead and drop my database. Okay, my database doesn't exist. I need to create a new one. I go my schema first, just copy paste this, run exactly like it is. Oops, I ran the wrong one. Still, what am I missing? So there's some issue in my schema file. My schools are correct. What's there? No database selected. Okay. So what does this tell me? I'm missing the use keyword over here. Yes, Eddie, you have the answer? Use? Where do I put it? Excellent. So let's go ahead and create use. Okay, so a good test, and we were able to test that our SQL schema.sql is correct or not. So let's go back here. We need to remove this, copy paste, run this. It should run exactly as it is. Okay, and this was successful. Refresh, and my table is there, my database is there. Okay, the next thing is I should be able to run this exactly. So I'm going to just copy paste this, remove all of this, paste it, and let's go ahead and run this. Success, and I should have 3 rows. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this and run my select star from schools, and there are my schools. Okay. Yes.
So why would you guys do it this way in two separate SQL files instead of an original file from that area?
Right. So I should be that's what I was saying, that this data is it might not be that maybe I just need this SQL command over here. I just need the structure. I don't need the data. The data might be coming from some other app. Let's suppose you have a UI and somebody adds some information. So they go ahead and do it. This is kind of hard coding the data, right? If that is a requirement, then you create a seeds.sql. Otherwise, you just run this one. That's why you keep it separate. If I keep everything together, then what happens is I have to select and I have to say, oh, run this one because I'm not interested in this data. My data is going to come from my front end and they are going to go and insert the data. So this file, the seeds kind of becomes redundant for me. So I'm only interested in this one. That's why we kind of keep them separate. Okay? And again, separation of concerns, as I like to call, remember we divide into modules and all that stuff. So let's keep our reads and creates separate. Okay? Here's the next cool thing. So in Visual Studio, they have a plugin, if you guys haven't already seen. If you go to your plugins, it's called MySQL. MySQL. Okay, this one, MySQL Management Tool, the first one. It's called MySQL Management Tool by June Han. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, probably not. But that's what it is. Okay, so go ahead and install. And what will happen is you will see a MySQL tab at the bottom. That's pretty cool. If you click this, it has localhost and it has all the databases that I have created right in your Visual Studio. Right, and then if I have to see data, I right click. Oops. Open this up, it will show you the tables, columns, and everything. And then there was a go to your tables, right click, it says select top 1000. So if you select this, it's going to go ahead and run a select query on your table, and then it's going to show you all the results from your table. And this is the exact query that it run. It gives you the query that it run, and then it shows you the results right in your Visual Studio. That's kind of cool. You don't even have to go in your.
So then extra stuff to make it show
Huh?
after you install it. So
If
it's not showing my MySQL even though I have it.
you probably have to just restart Visual Studio. Just close it and open it. You have it installed over here.
Already before
So it should show up at the bottom. I don't think I did anything different. Just show. I just had to maybe restart my Visual Studio. Otherwise, it shows up over here. Oh, results again. So I open my database, and then you have to select your table because my results are in my table, not in my database, right? So I'm trying to go into my table and then right click table and do select 1000. Okay, did you guys install this right now? Who installed it just now?
I did.
And it shows up on your screen like
Yeah,
this?
it's at the bottom, but I don't have it.
I had it.
You found it? Okay. And you are sure you guys have installed it?
I already had it installed for the next class. So it's not as it works.
Okay, how are you making sure that's installed?
You can see it. Yeah, there's no files in there. Because whenever I go search for the extension, I can't install it. I can uninstall it. It's already down here.
Yeah, there you go.
But it's empty.
So I thought you guys were saying you cannot even see the. Alright, you guys are using the wrong lingo. Now I get it. Alright, so here's the. So do you see the plus sign? How about you click the plus sign and see what happens? No, it's happening on the top. You guys. Alright. Let me walk you guys through this. Alright, you see this? Now I don't have any MySQL. I click this. The plus sign on the top, it says host. Same thing like we did in Node.js. My host is localhost. Okay, then I press enter. What does it say? It says user, same as Node.js, root, and then it says password. password. Okay, port number, same thing, 3306. Certificate path, it says optional, so I don't want to put anything. I press enter, and there's my local host and all my database. Wasn't that easy?
That's so cool.
Oh, you guys need to figure it out. Okay, a lot of people figured it out, so you guys should have. Anyway,
Who's a lot of people? Tell me, raise your hand.
that's Matt is there. Oh, there's Chess. There's Andrew. So the West Side figured it out.
Yeah,
They're just freezing.
that's what we all just sit here waiting on y'all. What's up, my sequel?
All right. So
I would never.
all right. So here's the. All right. Let's look at the last thing that I want to show you, and then I'm going to drop this table again. And since I have my SQL installed, I can actually just run it from here if you already haven't tried. So if I do right click and say run my SQL query, it's going to run every single command in this. You cannot select it, that's the other part, but if I do run my SQL query, it's going to run each one of them, and it's going to go ahead and create my database. All right. What does it say? Undefined unknown database. All right, let's go back here. Unknown database wizard schools DB.
Oh, there they are.
Did I misspell it? Let me make sure. Wizard schools DB. Create database. Use wizard schools DB. No, I don't see any issue over here. Oh, the DB was capitalized. Yeah, that's probably. Where is it?
Because you said it created.
Uh huh. Refresh. I shouldn't have anything. I wonder why I did that. Let's go back and do this. Hmm. All right. Did anybody ran their schema.sql? Just right click and run that query. It should create a database. Is that working for somebody? I don't know why it's not working for me. Job database if exists. Oh, do I have a select star? Where? I shouldn't have a select star. No. This should just create. I'm just wondering if there's a typo in one of these. Let me just copy these. Schools. All right, let's run this.
Yeah, mine is saying undefined too.
What is it?
Mine is saying undefined as well.
Undefined as well.
Well, unknown database. Same here as you.
What is the issue? I'm able to run this exactly in my SQL workbench, but not from here. It should be able to. Anybody? Were you guys able to successfully run this?
Yeah.
And is it the exact same query?
Exact same.
So what are we doing different that these guys are able to run this one? Please enlighten us and resolve our issue.
Well,
What are you
I
doing?
downloaded it.
He's not
and
doing the
then,
exact thing.
Oh, okay. What's different?
I think
me?
he's just getting his results to show up.
Oh no, I meant if I drop my database and I want to create a new one. Okay,
Oh.
I should be able to do right click, run this, and this should run. That's what I was asking.
So you're in the SQL, right?
Huh?
Oh, run my SQL query.
Ches, you were able to do that? Is there anything different from my code that you have?
No, it's the same.
Exact same thing?
This is all.
No, I use different examples. Yeah.
Right, but you still have the drop database if exists. create database, use this, and then go ahead and run this.
Exact same method.
Oops, I created a different database.
Unknown database wizard underscore schools db.
You have it saved with
What is it?
you just retype the code and save it.
Retype what?
It's DB. I mean, it's like it's trying to find a database with a lowercase db.
Right. So where is it running that query from? Because I don't have that one. This is what I'm running this one. Yeah, I don't know where it's getting the lowercase from. Or maybe it might be just lowercasing everything. It works?
Well, I keep just having the wrong database name. I keep messing up. There's like an S that I'm missing or something.
That's what I thought I might be doing, but I'm not sure why.
What is it supposed to show when it does?
On what?
What is it supposed to show when it does?
It should show you the database in
It starts
MySQL.
executing and then it just says it's done.
Yeah.
Okay, then if you go to MySQL, you can see the database then, right?
Yeah, I just said done, finish my
Okay.
SQL query.
Okay, then in your local host, that database should exist. So you guys are having, looks like it's working for you guys. Drop database if exists.
That's good.
Create
Did you have to erase
database.
it from MySQL to get there? Did you have to print that?
That's what I did.
I dropped it in.
Well, I
I
live
dropped
in
it in here.
truly.
I
It
didn't drop
worked.
it in MySQL.
Right. Yeah.
If it's not, it should be.
That's the problem.
It was doing that over here.
Should I highlight it? The whole thing?
So Daniel, after you drop the database, does it disappear from the workbench?
That's what I thought. Let me go and recheck.
Because mine hasn't been disappearing from VS Code, but it did disappear from the workbench. Well,
Yeah, it's not
after
over
I
here.
dropped it from VS Code.
Okay.
I tried that and it still didn't disappear.
Yeah, I refreshed this. I don't see it over here. Oops. So what if I just remove this? That's so weird. Unknown database? Use
I don't know. I
oops. Oh.
Once you create it there, it's supposed to show in your MySQL. Right?
Yes. So something is wrong with the plugin here because it keeps see unknown this thing unless I have no.
Right.
Okay. So let's do this. It's going to restart my Visual Studio. It
Yeah,
worked?
I didn't erase the drop database though, because it always tries to run that, when it doesn't find a database to drop, it stops.
It exists.
Yeah, drop database if exists, right? So it shouldn't do it though. Oh, there it is. There was something with the cache probably. So I just restarted my Visual Studio and now I should have it. Okay, so you see, you can actually run the exact same query from Visual Studio, just refresh and we should have it. Yep, there's my school. And then if I want to run the seeds also, I go in my seeds, right click, run query, and successful. Let's go here and then we can select our database. Oh, where's my database? Oh, there it is. Oh. Oh, come on. Where's my database? So here's my database, and then you can actually go back and run your select query, and you should have everything there. Select star from schools. Okay. Did I select star from schools? No database selected. I've selected database. Oh, there it is. Okay. So this is an extra plugin that you can use in Visual Studio. It kind of serves the same purpose. Seems like there's some issues with it. It's kind of hit and miss. But for most part, again, if you want everything in one place, you have this plugin. Okay? All right. So let's go ahead and actually start today's lecture now. All right. So what was that? You guys are done? No, we haven't. This was actually just the initial. This was the easy part. All right. So these guys are going to slack out a couple of files. These are CSV comma separated files, and this is the data that we are going to be working on today. So you will see two CSV files. One says 1,000 songs, and the other one is just top songs. Let me go ahead and open that here. Nick just slacked out the files. Please download those files. And then you can open the CSV file in Microsoft Excel or anything that you want. So the second one, the top songs without the 1,000 number, has 5,000 rows. Okay. The other one has same format, but it only has 1,000 rows. Okay, everybody got that file? Please open the 5001 and we are going to look at the data and then try to come up with a schema for this one. Okay. I'm also going to open this next like this. So CSV means comma separated values. So you see each row is has a comma separated values. Right. This is how it exactly looks like, and this is kind of like the preview in Visual Studio. All right, everybody has that data? Working on it. It's a working on it. Okay. All right. So let's look at the table now. Let's look at the data. So the first row, what does it look like? Oh, first column. Sorry. First column. Huh? An ID. Everybody good with that? The first column looks like an ID. Second column?
Artist name.
Artist name. Okay. Third column?
Album name.
Album name. Oh, it's a song name. Actually.
Oh, challenge me.
Okay.
I'm not familiar with the Beatles
Fourth-
album Hey Jude.
Fourth column? Fourth column is the year. Okay. Now the next 5, 6, 7,
I got weird.
8 columns, 8, 9 columns. These are what are they calling? The sales percentage. Oh, it's not the percentage. Ratings actually.
Oh.
They're just garbage and extra fluff.
Extra. So these are actually popularity scores, and the higher the score means that's how high the popularity was for that song. Now what are these three different rows? The first one is for United States, in US, popularity score in US. The next column is popularity score for UK. The third is for Europe, I think. Yes. Okay. And the last one is for rest of the world. So US, UK, Europe, and then rest of the world. Okay. The main important point over here is these are popularity scores. To you as a DBA, as a developer, as a database administrator, these are columns and with some values in it. All right. But again, the first one you can say and the name I'm giving you is because we are going to create a schema, and then you need a column name. You have to come up with a column name. So the first one is again the popularity score for US, UK, Europe. Am I missing one? USA, UK, Europe.
Asia.
Canada.
Canada is not a country. It doesn't count. Says the Canadian.
Okay. The first one is actually like the total popularity score. So the first one is the total. The next one is US, UK, Europe, and rest of the world.
Maybe you think that US is on point with popularity.
What is it?
I said maybe you think that US is really up there with popularity.
Oh yeah. All right. So the first one is the total popularity score. The second is USA only. The third is Europe, and then the last one is rest of the world. Okay. Now, everybody okay? All right. So the task first is to create a database table for this one. So you guys are going to go ahead and create a database table corresponding to this schema. All right. Now, please don't look at this preview. Look at the actual data, and then come up with the data types for each one of them. The first 1, 2, 3 are kind of 4 are easy. Please look at the data for this one and come up with the data types for this one. Okay, so create a table that is going to hold this data. We are just creating the schema. All right, everybody understand what schema means?
Don't we have to create a database? Why don't we have to create a database?
So how do you store this data?
Database.
Right, so you have to create a database and a table which can hold this data.
So we're doing the
Yes.
schema.
I'm typing it
We are in a
out.
MySQL class.
You start screaming about
Yes.
Schema and the schema.
No, just the schema. Just create the schema. First of all, just create the schema, then we'll come to the seeds one. Create a schema and then run it, and that this table should exist in your MySQL.
So apologies, I was trying to get the preview loaded.
Okay.
I forgot your extension, so I got it loaded.
Okay.
It's in this columns. That's top US.
Oh no, that's total popularity score. Let me make sure it's. And the second one is the. Second one is US.
Okay, hold on. US pop.
And then so we did this. There's UK,
UK popularity.
and then Europe, and the last one is rest of the world.
Yeah, we didn't talk about it, but the first column is actually rank.
The first column is it's actually a rank, but for our database kind of it's going to be our ID also. But you can call it rank, but if you are selecting a primary key, which one would that be? This would be the primary key.
Name.
No, the rank.
Yeah.
All right, the first column John pointed out is the rank, right? From the database perspective, you can create a column called rank, but that's going to be our primary key, remember? Because if you look at the data, it's unique. There's no two songs on the same rank. So it's easily our ID. But is it going to be auto-generated?
It looks like it. Right.
No, this is the data set that is given to you.
Also, this already has an ID.
Right. So does it have to be auto-incremented? No. Because my data set already has. I'm going to import this data in my MySQL. All right? I'm not manually inserting anything. Okay, so my data already has an ID. I don't have to auto generate anything. I just want to import this.
The schema is what we're using now.
Okay,
12.
but we still have the column called ID.
Yes, you still need the, no, not that. Well,
I mean,
you need a primary
You
key.
can do it either or. That's
Yeah.
Okay. So you can call this an ID, but
So
this
we
is
just like
this is not actually an ID. What is this? Is the rank,
workbench.
right? This is the rank of the song. But I can still call it rank, and then my primary key designation, I'm going to say primary key. One column is going to be my primary key.
So you have the total number of cases.
I wouldn't call it ID because it's not really an ID. It's actually a rank.
And then how many integers after this.
However many you want. So altogether.
no, that, why is that?
Why is the whole number? Digits, yeah, digits, and then the second number. I put name, title, year, on the later. Off the later. I don't know. I did because I was trying to think of what the first one was, because he got me confused by saying it was the US one, and when I had to think about it, I was like, wait, that's not right.
So you got it right now?
Probably not, but you know, that's what it is.
No, you have to get it right.
Figure it out. Not done yet.
Okay, let me.
Okay, US, Europe.
So here, there's no white. The first one is total.
Right.
That is Europe. So first is total, then USA only,
This should really be added to the readme. Why is this not? Asia.
Can your column thing have like two
Right. So
words in it, or does it have to be like?
underscore.
We are on third day of MySQL. Wrong question to answer. Ask now. Yes, it should be underscores.
What's your word?
Rest of the world, Europe.
I'm just buttless.
All right, so let me go ahead and create my schema.
Digits. All credit goes to her, I'm just reiterating my impression.
Code quit unexpected.
Song, trailer for the song. Jim Carrey looks funny, and he went, I'm like, I'm gonna see it for him, but like Sonic looks like a fucking little cat. Like a little rat.
I saw,
Yeah, I'm gonna see that. No, I'm proud. Maybe on there. Yeah, like, sit down and watch this movie.
Oh, I didn't create a package for this. Alright, the first was, let's call it pop quiz. I'm going to move everything. Alright, so let's call this top songs. Okay. And what do I have to do? I have to create a schema file. So schema.sql. Okay. And then we are going to go ahead and create the schema. Alright, so my schema looks like, let me open this. Alright, so drop database if exists, top underscore songs db. Otherwise, go ahead and create database top underscore songs db. I'm going to copy paste so that I don't make a typo. Create table, what should I call it? Let's call it songs database. Okay. Alright, so the first column looks like a rank. So I'm going to call it a rank. Looks like it's integer, not null. And I'm going to make this my primary key also. So I'm going to say primary key rank. Okay. All right. The second one is, the second column is singer. Singer varchar. Let's keep it 100. Doesn't look like it's going to be more than 100. Okay. The third looks like song varchar 100. Doesn't look like it goes above 100. Next one is year. Let's do it integer. Okay.
How did you put the null on?
Let's see. What is it?
How did you put null?
Well, I was saying there might be a case where it is no, but I'm going to remove it. Just keep it like this. Okay. So now comes the more trickier ones, right? So that's the popularity score, the total score. Let's say total underscore top score. Let's call this. Okay. So what's the data type you guys selected? Decimal. Excellent.
2,3.
2,3. That's all. So 2,3 means will not work. Remember what was the definition of decimal, Blair?
5.
Huh?
I couldn't remember. I just put it randomly.
So just put it random.
Yeah, I knew that was
Thank you. Bryce? What is it? 5,3 is good. So Blair, do you understand why this is wrong? What did you select? 4,2 means 2 before and 2 after. But if I look at the data, did you look at the data? It has more than 2.
But 4 is all together.
4 2. What does 4 2 mean?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
4 all together and then 2
Yes.
after.
So this means 1 2 dot 2 3. So 99.9. But did you see there are more?
I didn't see that.
Right. So let's see. 5-3. 5-3 looks good.
Oh, really?
That's what I think.
6-3 or?
Yeah. Actually, not even 6-3.
I don't think it would go.
Well, again, we have a data. Are you guys looking at the data, or am I looking at something different?
We do look at the data, we just have
If they are listed at, like, in order of popularity,
No.
the first one should have less score, right?
What?
But look, the Cosby's number one.
No. That doesn't matter. I'm saying what's the data. So I see definitely 5-3. But if you go, I think I saw a fourth one. It could be wrong. So there's absolutely no. Are you sure?
Looking at this, who knows? Looking at it like this, who knows?
There's 5,000 results. Let's just.
I'm just saying cover your bit. That's what
Let's
you
just
have
do
to.
10-5. Let's be safe. 10-5.
10-5 is a good one. Yeah, let's just do 10-5 and call it. No, that's fine. He's right. Yeah, it will catch all. You can do 10-5.
That's what he's saying. Yeah, 4-2.
5-3 is 5-3?
I think so. I mean,
Okay.
if they don't see anything,
Right. Yeah, if you don't see it, it's okay. I'm just saying, just make sure. Because what's going to happen if you have a decimal less, it's going to truncate, and you won't even know what happened.
So do you want to like can you send more just to have a
Yeah, just to have, make sure it's there. Yeah.
But I don't think we'll.
I saw witness.
Yeah, what? Alright, since you guys are insisting on 5-3, I'm going to go ahead and do 5-3. Everybody good with 5-3? Or to be safe, as Michael said, you can do 10-5 and call it a day.
10-5.
Alright, so 6-3, what does 6-3 mean? So 6 digits but 3 after, and you're expecting more than 2. Okay, yeah. Well, it's better than 10-5, but I agree, 10-5 would cover everything. Anyway, so let's go with this one. USA, okay. Then go ahead and do the UK. Okay. So everybody has their schema created and the database exists. UK and then Europe. You spelled that right? Yes. And then rest of the world. So let's call it rough. Rest of the world. Row. All right. So I'm going to try to run this again from my Visual Studio and see if this runs. The last time I did, it kind of crashed my Visual Studio. Oh, there's an error at varchar 100. Varchar or varchar. So it doesn't like this over here. What am I doing wrong here? No, it's fine to me. What is it? After. Why can't I see it? Oh, that's right. There it is. Excellent. Yeah, I put it right. Line 14. That's how you talk to a developer. Line 14. Put a comma and done.
10-5.
All right. Now I have a problem at integer not now. Rank integer not now. Singer song comma. Right. What was the reason I don't want it auto incremented? Because I already have the data set. I'm going to import it in my data. So I don't want it auto incremented because I already have the. All right. Everybody else able to create it? I'm having issues. So
Having issues.
okay. Somebody needs to help. Look at syntax issues. What are we missing? First was a comma that Chess pointed out, so that was good. Oh, I'm missing use.
How could you, Daniel?
Yes.
You accept two mistakes.
Oh my gosh.
Man, I have to be second pair of eyes first also. Well, Chess helped, so I'll take that. What else? Not now. Yes. Line 8.
The rate was like a built-in keyword.
Oh, there you go. You got it, guys.
I changed it to breaks.
Excellent. Let's change it to
I just
position.
kept ID because I don't care.
What about year?
Oh, that it should just be IDC because I don't care.
Let's try and see. Test this out. Still rank? I don't even have rank now.
Drop your.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I do have rank. Sorry.
That's great, Daniel.
Anything else? I heard line 11.
I go release here. This
That's a good one. Release year. Okay.
Oh, yeah, it turned blue on my, it's like one of the.
Almost. Still rank? I don't have a rank anymore. Where's my rank?
Mine's blue.
Do you guys see rank? I don't, right? I think I just need to restart my Real Studio. It's been acting weird since I installed this plugin. Alright, so what about everybody else? Everyone able to create that table? Or is it, hopefully it's just me that's stuck. I want to feel how that feels. Is it just me? Alright, so I have all my commas, I have my position, I'm using use this database and then create a table called songs. What? No SQL database selected. I'm getting like all kind of errors over here now.
I got that one too when I first tried to do it, but I didn't have the use.
Finally, there we go.
Do you know your user?
Okay. All right. Looks like I have my database. I'm going to go back here. Let's switch to my SQL Workbench. Make sure our database is there. And there it is. Let me move this. All right, everybody got the database? So next we are going to import this file and then we'll take a break in 5 minutes. All right, so we have the data. We are going to import this. So the first thing is, let's go ahead and I'm going to run the select query. Go ahead and run this query so that we can see what do we have in our table. Shouldn't be anything. So select star from songs. Run this in your workbench because that's where we are going to import our data. All right, everybody here? Extremely important. Okay. So on your grid, on your result grid, look at the rightmost over here on this one, the one that I import records from an external file. That's what we are going to do. Okay? So click this button. It shows up a file path and all that stuff over here. So you are going to go ahead and browse to that top songs DB CSV file. Okay? Again, if it gets stuck, please use the 1001. But I'm going to do it with the 5001.
Use existing table.
What is it?
Use existing table.
Yes. Yes, because you already have a table created. So I'm going to browse. I'm going to select top songs. I'm going to say open. Next. again, read through it, understand what's going on. It says select the destination. Do I want to create a new table? No, because I have already created a table called song. So I'm going to select saying use existing table. Okay? All right, where is the import? Somebody help John out.
How do we do this out MySQL?
You need some import too. You cannot import that many rows.
Okay.
So you need some kind of import.
What's the schema that we're selecting?
We are importing data.
Right.
Yes,
Is that the schema?
CSV. No, the CSV, the data. Schema is creation. Now we are importing data.
Do they select?
It's the SQL file, it's the CSV file that you were looking at to determine how to make that schema. The top songs.csv. John, did you find it? Okay. All right, so we are selecting yes. So, find what? The what? Did you find the button? Okay. Somebody help Randy. Yeah, it's the same in both. Okay. How do you select the database? Double click on the database.
Hey,
Double click on your
I
database.
need your help, Joe. Run for me, please.
It worked?
Well, his work, but I'm not excited like him.
So then, but Blair, ask Blair, help from.
I did help him in nothing. I'm at the part.
and I can't select the database, so I have to.
What if? Yeah, you have to cancel just like that.
Maybe I did create.
Click the right database.
Double click. Double click. Click it like it's there. That's it. Now it's blue. Okay, we are importing the CSV file. The CSV file that the TS flagged out. Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and click next. Everybody okay? All right, I clicked next. So over here, SQL Workbench is smart enough to detect the columns, and it is giving you a chance, but it's pretty accurate. So what this is saying is that this is the data that I found out. Do you want this data to go over here, this to over here, this to over here, and all that stuff, which is pretty much correct. Well, not pretty much, it's exactly correct what they're suggesting. So I'm going to keep the same default options because all of them look fine to me, and I'm going to say next. Okay, I'm ready, and then I'm going to say next, and it's going to go ahead and import my 5,000 rows. All right, who was not able to import? All right, let me feel good first. Who was able to import? Oh, nice. All right.
It feels so good, John.
All right. Troy and Nick will help. I think Kellen needs help. Who else? So, were you not able to import?
I was busy helping. I wasn't able to.
Kelly, were you able to import? Laura was able.
So I do. I have exported information. I just haven't imported it. Is it in?
Do we have to do this?
Oh, no. Go to your MySQL thing and run the query. Select. Let me finish this. When you run the select query, the empty grids comes up, and then this one, import.
There's really not a better way. There's really not a better way.
There's a way over here. I think it's in the tools.
Is there like that package a package we can use?
But this is not code. Yeah,
So I'm jumping.
That's how it opens.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
What am I doing with that?
No, you don't have to open it. You have to forward it. Go in my
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it. It's on there now.
Where are you opening it? Yeah, it's a CSV file. It's just a comma separated. Yep.
Yeah, that, and then find that file. Because yeah, I didn't see you at
Have you run the select query all 5,000?
No, not that. But I just, wait. Okay, so that file has to be,
Did you import that?
the tab sum, I didn't have it in the same reference. The tab sum CSV has to be in the same.
No. What? Did you import the data in your MySQL? You did?
Yeah.
That's all. Now just run the select query. Your MySQL report.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. That's like his game.
Sorry, I just.
Her first, I've been lying.
No, you still, wait, hold on. Yeah. Because your field type is how I don't even fucking have it. I'm pretty sure it's working.
Okay, yeah.
But like you said, I don't like using this because it's easier just to do everything.
I'm trying to make it
database.
Right.
It wasn't?
Yeah, no, this is using
Oh, dude, that's not what you can do. You just did the same
No,
thing.
that's what it is.
That thing is called interesting.
You select that first.
You can do numbers.
Just want, like,
It's an app on your I mean, it's exactly like your site missing
like,
If you just
it worked, but I was trying to get it to pull, like, it's just, you just did it. Wait, so this, is this what it is? Oh, yeah, so now do that.
We're importing
Oh, yeah, okay, my database is box.
just got to the table all set up with all the columns. We're now going to be importing the information for all the 5,000 songs.
Oh, dude, Andrew said that rank is
So
it's like a safe, it's like a safe. So you can do ranks. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's just to make sure that you know what number.
Blair got it?
Yep.
Jeffrey? Joffrey got it?
We're still trying to get it off.
No, you don't want to.
So we need a slide that works.
So now you're thinking that it's all something that Andrew said, so I still had a rank instead of ranks.
Okay.
And so it was like doubling.
So then he shouldn't have been able to create the
From your song state.
He's just like blocking state.
Look at this code. It's like all faded out.
And
Is that like a setting?
Oh, the database already exists.
I don't know. Drop it at it.
I didn't like
Oh, I did. I have that here. Look, I have that here.
No, you created and
So you just rewrite. Yeah, I don't look it because initially I
don't forget.
I keep changing the name of the database.
That's probably what it is.
Probably doesn't know what database you're trying to get to. Okay, so I'll go back to my.
Select star.
One?
All the extra
that's
numbers
okay.
that it's added.
Alright, we'll take a break and we'll start at 8:15.
And then I just wanted the header. Like it worked. I pulled all the data, but I didn't get the header. And that's why. Like, look, I pulled all the data. No, that's right. The header.
It's ranks. All the bodies in ranks is just the ID. It's just so when you import, that's why you have to ID. It doesn't matter like didn't y'all put it as
It's the first row, the header, and you probably know.
Yeah, so it's just like in Excel. I didn't know it's like Excel and you're copying data. When you're like, make a header.
It's basically the
I got it. I'm just like, I'm making it confusing.
is whatever that is.
I'll go to break.
You are there, you got it.
What?
I wrote this out.
It's like
I wasn't
paying attention to you, you know?
Exactly. I know you weren't paying attention. That's what I keep saying. First listen and then go back and do it.
When I run this, it brings up results and I have.
Okay, well here, can I ask a question? So like I changed this all up because I just wanted to see if it worked. But then it runs, but then it says no. Why is it doing this double table thing? Popular song, database, double. I don't get that.
Drop database if it exists. Create database. Use this.
Because it's like it's made that before. I've seen that.
So in your schema, remember I said don't have schema is only schema. Don't put any queries. So I think it's trying to run it.
Select.
Schema to only schema.
There we go.
Yeah, let's see if you can figure this out.
Okay.
This is weird.
Not necessarily.
It's just doesn't have the button.
I just went into downloads and just pulled that one just because I knew that was the original like song file.
I can go in here.
I was thinking of like where it has like really small cell.
Okay. So now the funny thing is, now I have all of my table names and I don't have my data.
So you're going to go ahead and import the data.
Oh yeah, okay, now I can import it.
Yeah. This is eventually how. Yes.
It just does not have the button.
It doesn't have the button.
It just doesn't have the button.
I mean,
So you can only
What?
export, not import.
Does her user not have the
That's what I do at home, like when I'm like on free, like get the train when I did that today. I was trying to run their algorithm functions, and when I finally got it,
by yourself.
that's
I'm on that same exact screen.
that's how hard it is. To
Oh yeah, that it'll still have all of it. Yeah, then you just get next and then import it.
Yeah.
Right name. Yeah, wait, same spot. Same screen. No.
I couldn't remember that. So the light.
It was like working, but this was like kind of not.
Right. You know, I'm behind, like 3 steps behind.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to see. See, so now I can get that in there.
Yeah, it's cool that usually
Now once it imports.
they have like if you click on the
Yeah. Which is kind of cool that you can look right there. There's so much of it, just there's so many tools that you can use that make it might be easier.
Oh, did you have a lot of runs failed there?
Until I got to nobody's.
I
I think we would be a group out, and I was like, oh my god, that was cheesy. He's like, could you let's go backwards? It's cheese. Like, oh, she said, yeah, he asked me, what kind of balls would you be?
Maybe on
Those? You. I think you okay.
It sounds like he's more like a steamboat. He's blowing
I
around.
put it in
Okay. Cool.
Are they really? Why do they do that?
What?
They're on a slant. You know
Well-
what? That's not nice. That's not nice at all. Be nice.
Yeah.
Be nice about the math.
Like,
Well, whatever.
It
works.
I'm
just not feeling
Did you get the?
You did it. It works.
No,
On the side, a little side tree.
Mostly
I don't
math.
see.
Yeah, I need to get the file constructed.
Where over here?
Oh yeah, it'll be in there.
He's got a special club. I got
But I
a
don't care.
special
It works.
You knew it was nothing.
Not the top 1,000.
I mean, it works. I look over in the SQL workbench. It's in there.
And then use existing tables.
I had
That's behind all that time, I know. They're like 49.
And just check to make sure that all the right.
Regular things. Oh, right.
Still work though.
Well, I had one of them.
Might have looked like crazy too.
One of them was like 325.
Oh, yeah, that one worked.
You guys are gonna What's the your guys' updates that come out? You had it like 4 months ago. Now you're 4 steps ahead. You track it, not
In
I
not
have enjoyed.
just click. We just click this.
I don't know. I've spent a little bit more time on this than probably. So this one for sure. Yeah, probably was like I was like right. Firebase have a lot of like perks, I guess. If you know how to like use it, right? Yeah. Yeah, just like especially when it comes to like parsing things online and you
Here.
like I'm just something like the whole
We
road
put position.
like hitting cell.
Oh,
See,
really?
hitting cell. Oh my
So,
gosh. I definitely got to work right.
Years.
I don't got to take this shit.
Total.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a little apprehensive, but man, it's strong.
And
You
whenever
have
I
US.
invited to updates, I couldn't use the feeder thing to log back in when I let you.
Yeah.
So I didn't have a pass on the grid.
Yeah, it's whatever you want.
I saw it clear over the screen. Like the just call the API sitting.
And then so you have US, UK, Europe, and the total. Or row. Now, let's we're gonna have to just delete the database or the table. Yeah, or drop it. You've already got the database, so
Figured out.
so there we go. We just did. So
And it sends back a token, so I have the Ajax, or the Axios call, the Axios call. I forgot the token back again. That part to figure out, and then I went back and instructions. My job, like, really just like.
Go to CNJ, I'm texting you that. Like, well, I have 18 counties marble because you guys do the right. No, you're good too. Hopefully, I'm gonna download that right now. Is it like, should I see it in the theater? Does it even matter? Just see it. No, in game, yes. I mean,
Oh,
you
that
got
wasn't.
I did that, but it's more than 80. Like, yeah, so I just, I'm literally gonna
So now
download
let's
right
try
now.
and find the file. Which is,
Not like
yeah,
Really?
But
if you don't know Alright. I feel like I can figure it out. I can. Don't talk.
Those aren't buttons.
Alright, let's see what the internet has.
And then I can go to work.
Yeah. Yeah, like, Verizon. I'm actually better friends with his brother, but like since we started doing this, like,
What happened that time was we didn't have the row, we didn't have all the rows we needed. So there was an extra column in our data, and Workbench just didn't know what to do. So it's just like, it just shakes all over itself. It's like, oh. And it just crashed. It just feel like caught fire as it was trying to, it just feels so weird. So I now that it's working like it's taking this long, I'm pretty sure it's working. I think you just put like next.
That's actually interesting.
5,000.
Where you live?
Just like
Oh, really?
That's what
That looks like
Word is at the top, it's not at the
Yeah, she hadn't had that in your base slot. Yeah, so it's like, I can't import it because you don't have anywhere to import it. Yeah.
I'd rather have that than something much larger. I know, it's like, at least it has.
I work out there. Yeah, the Iranians. Right there.
All right. Okay. Everybody good? Everybody able to import? See 5,000 rows? What? What happened to one row?
I got 5,000.
Huh?
I remember it was like 4,927 or something.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and start the. I have 5,000. Okay.
You live the 1,000 songs.
Oh, you did the 1,000 one?
Yeah, I did that.
Okay, that's okay. All right, so now we have data, and now we are going to write some queries against this data. So, when we talk about big data and all that stuff, this is what we're talking. I mean, it's a small subset, like 1,000 or 5,000 rows, but it's the same amount of the same queries that run on bigger data set or this one. Okay. So let me go. What you guys are going to do is we are going to now create a Node.js application for this particular data set. Okay, we did this on Saturday. It's a similar concept. Okay, now on Saturday I saw a lot of groups were using Inquirer. Again, you can go ahead and use Inquirer. I'll code it in Inquirer. If you want to make it simple, process argv is also fine. All right, what we are looking is we understand how to write queries in our Node.js code, and we can get the data set back. Okay, that's the important point. Again, if you think you're getting too much stuck in Inquirer, forget Inquirer. Just write process argv, take an artist name or something, and then get the data back. Okay, everybody clear on that part? All right, what is important is let's go ahead and I'm going to show you four statements, and you guys have to think about it and convert them into queries. Okay, so let's go. Let me see if there's an exercise, or I have the statements over here. So I have my schema. Okay, I don't have the statements. Okay, so I'm slacking out for a query which searches for a specific song. Okay, here is okay. So on your Slack, please check Slack. I have 4 statements, and you guys have to write queries for it. The first one says a query which returns all data for songs sung by a specific artist. Go back here. Readme dot, is it md? Yeah. Say 1, 2, 3. So 4 queries you guys have to write. Open this. Okay. So the first query you're going to write is a query which returns all data for songs sung by a specific artist. Second one, a query which returns all artists who appear within the top 5,000 more than once. If you imported 1,001, just do it for 1,000. Okay. What is important is you have to do this against the data set that you have in your table currently. A query which returns all data contained within a specific range. A query which searches for a specific song in the top whatever that data set and returns the data for it. Okay. Now, maybe the first one is kind of familiar. The other 2 or 3, you need to figure out how would you write this query. Okay. Take some time, think about it. Let me give you. I have the hint written down here. Let me see with. Oh, it's actually the unsolved README, so I don't even have to write this. Nico, Troy, can you Slack out exercise 13 unsolved, please? And then it's there. Okay, so we are working on 13. Let me open that README. So the hints are already there in this one. Take a look at this. What I would suggest, eventually you have to write the Node.js code for it, okay? But first, what I would suggest is create queries in MySQL, make sure they run and you're getting the data back, what you're looking for, okay? Um, so they don't have the specific ones that I wanted to show you guys. So let me go ahead and give you some of the keywords that you guys will be using. Should I give it to you, or you guys are going to search for it yourself? What do you guys want to do?
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay, excellent. So take a few minutes. Some of these are going to be using queries or keywords from MySQL that we have not seen. Please look at the documentation and try to kind of figure out what is going on or what is the ask for these queries. And come up with a query, run it, and then take a few minutes and then start writing the Node.js code. But the important part is you figure out the queries to write for each one of them. The first one we have already seen, so that should be pretty comfortable for you guys. What? Don't look at me.
I did the first one.
You did the first one? Excellent. Okay. Query which returns all artists who appear within the top 5,000 more than once. This is the tricky one. Let's see if there's an easier one. I would say third one is easier than the second one. Yeah, first and fourth are the easiest one. So 1 and 4, everybody should be able to do it. We have already done this, and the fourth one is very similar to the first one. Second and third require some research. So take a look at it, try to see among second and third one is the easier one. The more difficult one is the second one. So I would say do first, fourth, third, and then second. So Nick has slacked out the SQL tutorial. Please take a look at it for second and third. First and fourth, you guys should be able to do it without looking at any tutorial. All right, how many got the first one done? Okay. None from this table. So you don't have to write the Node.js code, just write the code for now. So in MySQL Workbench,
Okay.
just write the query that corresponds to this one. We'll come back to Node.js code in 5 minutes. If you have this done, the other part is a little bit easier. But write the query like select blah 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 from on your MySQL.
So here?
Yeah, just write the query first.
Well, okay.
So just write the query. I want to make sure you guys have all the 4 queries written before you go into the Node.js part. So you have to write a query which returns all that.
So basically select start from and then you write, you follow what it says, right?
Yeah, whatever that query is. So the first one is a query which returns all data for songs sung by a specific artist. How would you convert that statement into a SQL query? And again, between these, first one and the fourth one, I would recommend do first because they both are easier and similar.
You mean the second?
First and the fourth. See the first and the fourth point?
Yeah, yeah.
And then attempt the third and then go into the last one. So just write the query.
Funny.
Right, yeah, you will get the input, you're right, you're not thinking absolutely, you're not in the mode. Just
I will
show
show
write
you.
this query in
I will show
MySQL.
you.
Okay, the right where it says start with the song. Yeah.
So if you got the
See what
first
I-
one, you also got the fourth one probably, right?
Yes, so let's go from your table. Yeah, just don't do what I do.
Okay, so because that's
Don't do what I do.
That's exactly what I said.
So you're going to do, let's start from table where
You run that alter the query. Well, so after the
So you do that from the start, even if you're not selecting.
No, I have it in what my thing was. Yeah, I forgot what I needed. I didn't follow the.
Yeah, number 4 is like the same.
I don't know. Usually when I don't know what's going on, people start bursting into laughter at me. Because I always do stuff.
Because I was looking at this and I can't hear the person as it broke because it was laughing. Did you figure out the first one?
I did a test against
I was good. So did you write it? So I wrote it. I don't know if it's right. No, so you haven't written the new part.
Well, I can, like, I just, like, in my SQL workbench, I tested it, because I just, I let it in.
Oh, yeah, it works. You just do the same thing with the subtitle. Except for that's not
Yeah, since, yeah, we're only doing the first one, first slices. So it's here.
So you have to do something like so, and then yeah, your so I have that. And then you have to equal what you're trying to do. So I think for character, you would want and it's okay if I was used to it. I don't think it's me.
I have not ever noticed any of you kicking me.
What was that one? Well, I thought you were gonna keep your trigger that one. So I'm like, you're fine. Let's go. Whatever. I don't like it. It's like that. Because I haven't, I ran it for the name one, so now it just says the name and I don't know any of the typos. Certain words. I don't know how to reset the table. It's the same symphony. So like, just like from song.
All right, how many? What about number 3? You got number 3? You got it? What's the keyword? Between. All right. For the third one, the hint is look up the documentation for between. Second one is look into group by.
I knew it.
Look into group by. It's actually a combination of few. So group by and having. So read the group by, you will see that
Those were the two I read and was like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then here we go. We're going.
All right. Meanwhile, let me do the first one and the fourth one. Select. You got it? Nice.
I just had to do one for the third one too, but I didn't get that.
So which one did you do?
The first and fourth.
First, fourth. What about the third one? Oh, okay. Okay, that's good. Oh, that's a.
Like you brought it up way too quick.
Oh, okay. The spoiler. I should next time I'll do a spoiler so you can close.
Spoiler.
So what's the first one? Select star from songs where artist is equal to. Let's see what's the Beatles.
I mean, in your brain, yes, you said that. But to all of us. Dude.
Select star from where. Oh, it's not artist. What was I calling it?
You only need two to do the first one.
Singer. So my column is called singer. That's why I have this. Oh, okay. Wow, I have like many rows for the Beatles. Okay, that's my first one. My fourth one is going to be similar and
done already, and he has to go.
specific song. So I can go ahead and
Right, made me feel bad.
their song is equal to some song.
I know, it's really
Yeah, but I don't have any skills.
Say select this one. My heart will go on.
That's fine. So in this case, since we only
Oh, where songs.
since we only
Okay, so that's the second one. Very similar to the first one.
you just get rid of the right there.
So third one, not yet.
Gives, among artists. Actually, I'm sorry. I didn't do a star for artists.
So third one is we have to find within a specific range. And if you look at the documentation, a lot of people found it out it's between. Calling it position. Where position
Sorry, so you can get rid of the count stars. So we're just returning all of this.
You got the third one? Excellent. Now the last one.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure.
Blair, did you get the last one? The
No.
group bar?
No, I was just starting to read the documentation.
Oh, okay. You got it?
There's a lot of putting things in place.
Let's see.
Yeah, I can normally look for Tornadoes, I need help, but I can't do that in this room, it doesn't work that way. Yeah, you need it. For once without me though, I'm just the one that gets your
That would
attention.
feel so weird when I saw that afterwards.
Yeah.
They're already existing.
Just more typing.
I just have, it's like the same as the first. Yeah, I mean, I just have to select. It.
Except for group by. Yeah. And my input.
I just have like when we have to select star from songs or something.
No, but I mean, it's my inputs are. I'm getting messed up with my numbers. The fourth one was supposed to be two, but that's the second one.
Yeah, the second one's the only
Someone was jumping on the wrestler. Someone was jumping on the wrestler. I was like, well, I don't know his name.
Yeah, the fourth, that's the second one. This numbering system is messing me today. But I have, so I'm looking for a song. So you have to select the title from song where title equals.
You had to.
So what does group by do?
Yeah, so you use whatever, yeah, whatever you put in there is what you're grouping in.
Okay.
I got it, but I just didn't want to write it. I'll be truthful with you.
So that's not complete. I'm just showing you. Oops, select.
Yeah, there we go.
So it's kind of. So these are singers who are all of them are repeating in the data basically, right? So it groups all of them. That's what it is. That's the first part. So if you use group by on the data by some column, it's going to group. So now see how many? It's only 14 rows. Oh no, that's not 14 rows. Songs 14. So all of these, the data has been grouped together. So right there are multiple rows and all of them. There might be one row, so we don't know. But that's the next part. But it kind of groups your data set by one column. So I said group them by singer column. Okay? So it kind of group them together into right, aggregating. It's kind of trend down. Now what I need to find out is you did it? Nice.
I like my sequel. I don't like anything else right now. I have to do my sequel.
Awesome.
I wish I could share something yesterday. Hey, everything else is like non-white. Like,
Not in white.
the-
So if you are done, go ahead and start the Node.js part, or and then I'll go ahead and complete this one for everybody else. Okay. So what am I trying to find out? I'm trying to find out third one. No, second one. More than once. This means if the name has come up more than one, basically. Okay. You guys saw the having. Count star. Look up this one. What this one does is it will go ahead and return your count. It's going to count the number of rows and get that number back. So what is it counting? It is grouping by singer, right? And it is counting how many of those rows were kind of grouped together.
So, you wanna know why? Because in here
asking it for songs where the name of the song is written. It should be singer, right, instead of name.
So do you have star?
So the name, because the name, singer should be.
Because of what?
Did your own selecting order then?
Yes. Yeah. That's why I said. So count star kind of goes and counts all your rows as you are saying. Yeah.
I don't either, but now it's working.
So these are all the singers that have appeared more than once in the data set.
So that's all the people that have more than one song there?
Yes. Or more than one, yeah, they have appeared more than once. Oh, I can put it this. So Bling Crosby has appeared 27 times. Beatles had appeared 44 times. And what I did was I just added a count star. So what it does is it kind of goes up and adds those number of rows that are common. And what are they common on? They are common on the singer name. And then Matt had a... You had an order by, Matt?
Yeah, counts decent.
What was it, order by?
I did order by, and then I made a very close counts.
Yeah.
So what's be wrong with your count part's not coming up? It's not giving you an error, it's just not.
What do you mean it's not coming up?
Yeah, I'm not getting a count column either,
Yeah.
but
I'm not getting the count column, but it's saying everything's rendered, but it says 780
I need to count four of them 2 times.
Oh, it already exists?
Yes.
It's a keyword?
Well, there's a count function. So
Oh, there's a config. That's right.
What is this? What's your question?
No, on your
Oh, right here, sorry.
select name from songs group by given.
Sadly, I had my friend had that to me.
Oh, no. So what are you using? See my 9 by 12 again? I had a singer, then I added another column. That's what it's just. Added a column.
Hear about this guy's blew
There's a lot of weird movies and songs.
Yeah, and number 112, what did that count?
Weird shiny color.
I only saw one. Oh, but do you have it on
all these clothes.
Oh, yeah.
So that's like dripping spaghetti.
All right, let's look at the next thing. There are 2 more things that I need to cover.
After having count
Uh-huh. What was it?
one, you have to order by.
Yeah, I didn't complete it. I have to look at what did you get it? So order by, what it does is it kind of sorts them in an order, like ascending or descending. That's what order by does. Yeah. So you can give this name as Matt was saying. So as um, number of times, and then say order by number of times, and it kind of puts in an ascending order by default. Or if you want to change it to descending, it's the keyword is space DSC as what's the if I want to do this descending, what's the
Just DESC right after.
DESC, yeah. I was putting DSC. So it kind of sorts in descending order. Okay, these are a little more, this last part is especially a little more advanced, but order by, look up the documentation, it kind of sorts your columns. Okay, so here's the next thing, and then you guys can continue. So you have to write the Node.js application for, I think, Bryce and a few more people already are on it. But this was the more important point, that you need to know how to write these queries. The second important part, it's kind of hard to see this next part in this one, but the topic is indexes. So when you're working on databases, when you have huge amount of data, this is still considered extremely not very like heavy data. So you won't see a performance benefit, but you can still see some of the timing. So if I have select star from songs, so you see at the bottom, it shows you the duration. Everybody see it says 0.05 something seconds. So when you have large amount of data, you want to speed up the retrieval time. Okay, you want to shrink the retrieval time. You want to make that query faster. And one of the ways, the more popular ways, is to add an index. What do you mean by adding an index is you tell MySQL to add an index to one of the columns, and what it does is it's going to go ahead and sort that column alphabetic. Okay, so if I add an index to the song, it's going to create in its own space, is going to create an index, and is going to keep a sorted list of the song column. So when you run select star from songs, it's going to be much faster compared to if you don't have an index. Okay, if you want to speed up the retrieval, what we do is we add something called index, INDEX. All right, index to a column, and then MySQL applies in magic. What it does is it kind of keeps a sorted copy of that column. When you retrieve it, it's much easier to get the retrieval done, and that's why we say you need to create an index. Okay, by default, anything that you declare primary key has an index. MySQL will automatically create an index on primary key. So if you're retrieving anything using a primary key, it's much faster. So I don't have a, let's do this one. Again, index, primary key by default. Any column that you declare as a primary key, it's going to create an index on it. So right now, it's taking 0.030 seconds to run my query over here. Okay, so let's go ahead and add a index on our column, on our song column, and see what's the performance. I mean, it's already really fast, but let's go ahead and add a index for it. Okay, so look up the syntax for adding an index. It's alter table. Nope. So you can say, how do you add an index in MySQL? So you will see something alter table, and then my table name, which is songs. Okay, and then add index. give the index name. So I'm going to call my index as song, all right? And then in parentheses, give the column that this index is going to be created on, okay? Again, this is your index name, so just so that you guys are clear. Alter table songs, okay, add index, give it a index name, and what column you're trying to index, okay? So I'm going to put an index on this one. Let's go ahead and run this. Okay, successful. Now let's go ahead and run this query. Hopefully we see a difference. It's already like super fast. So you see, without the index, my query was taking 0.003 seconds. With the index, it's taking 0.00059 seconds. So that's what index does. It makes your queries run faster. Okay, but most of the people think, well, why don't I add index to every column, right? It does come with an overhead. You cannot, if you add too many indexes, your query will actually slow down. So what we do is when we have a lot of columns, we kind of choose, and we choose a column that most are going to be used. So songs, we would be searching by song names a lot, right? People would be searching, oh, I want to know details for this song. So song column kind of makes more sense to have an index so that the retrieval is faster. Okay, and you can see the difference. For this data set, it kind of, what is this? It's like half time faster, 0.003 to 0.000 almost 6. Okay, and what do? You say alter table name, add index, then give the name of the index. You can call it whatever you want, and then in the parentheses you're going to put the column you're trying to put that index on. Okay, that's the concept for index. Again, remember the concept. Again, these are questions that are asked, and they will ask you, hey, do you know what is an index? What's the advantage of index? Why do you use an index? And this is what you use it for. And how do you use it? You add an index to your column. Okay. All right. So in the previous ones, we worked in queries with one table. Let's do queries with two tables. Okay. So the next one is you will be given a CSV file. Similarly, create a table looking at the CSV file and then import it. So let's see if these guys are going to Slack you out. The next one, and the schema is top songs. Oh no, it's actually top albums. Okay. So the next CSV file is top albums. Please go ahead, import that CSV file, create a schema, and then import that file. Actually, it's almost the same.
Are we on 14?
We are on number 14, yes, the last one. So if you look at the data, it's actually very same, except the artist name is now album. And then everything else is kind of the same thing. You get it?
We're just creating.
Okay. So we are creating schema for it, and then you're going to import the data that they're sending.
So a whole new database table.
No, not a whole database, just a table. Database is still going to be your top songs DB. Add a table called whatever the data they're sending and import everything in that table. All right, don't create a new database because that will kind of defeat the purpose of our exercise. We need two tables in one database. So you just have to create a table and then import the albums in it. So in the songs and albums zip file, you will have a top albums CSV file. So let's see how top album looks like. Top albums. So same thing, position or rank. Then you have the artist or singer, and then you have the album name. Everything else is pretty much the same thing. So you just copy paste this and import it. So if I run this, it's going to drop my whole database. So I'm not going to. Just going to run this. Okay. We create a. Okay, so this is what I had for my previous one. So let's change this to albums. Okay, position is good. Then instead of singer, it's album name. So I'm going to change this to album. Then everything else is still same, right? What is it? Oh, I think you are correct. So the first is position and the second is, what did I have? So let's go ahead. Oh, so this was fine. So this is album, right? So the artist, album, year, and all the rankings. So position, singer, album, yeah. So let's go ahead and I'm going to create this table. Okay. And then I'm going to import my data. So select, let's see, I shouldn't have anything, albums. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and import. This time is going to be albums. Okay. Use existing table albums. Yes. Next, all my columns are good. Position, singer, album, releaser. Next, and let's go ahead and import this. So that was successful. Finish this. Let's go ahead and run this, and I should have some albums. Okay, so this is my albums, and select star from songs. This is my songs. So you guys see what is common between these two columns? My albums and my songs column. Try to identify which column is kind of common. Like if you want to combine them, which one would you use? Position. So think of what in English. What am I going to ask? I'm not going. I'm going. I can ask you, hey, give me details for this singer. Okay. So what would be your query? Give me now. What happens now? What does your query begin? Give me details for the Beatles. Okay. So I'm looking for details from songs and also the album name. So what is your query going to be? Join. Excellent. Totally what?
And just run this.
That was the best. No, this is not. Yeah. Play ahead. That's what
Right next to songs you like.
So this time change your query to get their artist information, but from both tables. Yes.
So basically, you've just created another table.
Don't create anything.
So select. I'm going to change this to from.
you can create a single. So I can create it. So.
And then you go to the options.
Yeah. So we need to add data in the sign. Yeah, I was getting that.
All right. Somebody did the inner join. Oh, did I say inner join?
Oh, the inner join.
You're from the same table, right?
I was
So
writing
are we supposed to have both things imported?
Both what?
That new table is complete.
What is both?
Yeah.
So
Both of the files.
this.
The
Like,
top
What?
songs and the albums.
So you should already have top songs, right? You already did it. So you just need albums.
So that even though I go through and I read, because when I come up, it comes up with top songs automatically. So when I hit browse and I do it again, it's not going to delete that, right?
No.
Still? Okay.
No. No, that's what I did.
So hit refresh.
I went and selected new file and then there's this one.
Left join, right join.
Yeah, inner join, outer
So
join.
just.
He came with yellow where it said, he said there is. Yeah, there is one. Because he came up after class, he was like,
tried it.
outer join, man.
Oh, there's no outer join in
Oh, there
this.
is not.
I tried it myself.
Oh,
They're saying they don't have outer join. The concept is there. It's in Microsoft SQL Server and other databases. And I was trying, but then I googled it. They were saying there's no outer. The keyword doesn't exist in Microsoft. They took it out.
So go co-op.
But outer join, the concept is it gives you everything. So go ahead and write a query for inner join for this one.
Okay.
Now, you select that.
Which was the join?
Yes. Now you have two tables. You want to join and get me the data for any artist. Pick artist and then write the query for it.
Charlotte?
And you're going to use the join.
I
So
was
we have
thinking it was
two tables.
something different.
Oh. So now we have two tables. We are joining them. So write the query.
What's the syntax? Like, look it up, and I was like, oh, it's just join.
It's just joins. Inner join.
Table queen already exists.
So you want to create the table.
So select star from the two tables. Albums. Songs.
Yes. didn't fix it. It just didn't work.
You still have the drop.
Oh,
At the
it
top.
has to have primary key.
Oh, do you not?
I think,
Oh, I thought you just copied it.
yeah, it's like already in the table, it's already in the CSV file. So,
You need primary key, but not auto.
right, okay. So I still give it,
You just
yeah,
select
I didn't give it a nice.
Yeah, so it's, this table is going to be the exact same columns as your songs, as your top 5,000.
I got it to import and turn it
And
into
it's going to be
join
exactly
account.
the same, except instead of song, you're going to have
I
top.
don't understand.
What?
So,
Primary in the document.
Okay. Maybe look up some of the exercise that we did on Saturday for joins. How do you? What's the syntax? So you put 2 columns, 2 tables.
Well, you do the select and then the column names that you want that are the same, right?
Right. That's
And then the first table name.
yes. First table, inner join, the second table. Start with that.
I think I'm confused because reading theirs they have T1, T2. and-
Oh yeah, yeah. You
What
can
is
forget
that?
about it. They are renaming those tables. Don't worry about that.
That's why I
Yeah.
was like, wait.
it's a CSV.
No, you don't have to do it unless it is necessary. But in this case, I think it's not. Yes.
I'm not seeing the import
No.
icon.
Are you on the database? Did you double click the database? You select it?
That's the top song.
No, select it.
You want the top songs or top songs, just in case.
It just says echo.
Select some.
Yeah.
Those are the people that
That's a bump. That supersedes any language.
the people who come in, they just join. Everybody's dumb. This is why this is right. And then when you research that, you're like, okay, that guy knows what they're talking about. They just have one line. They don't go all the babble and just like, shut up.
Jake, you're basically saying understand JavaScript.
If you look at the data.
Yeah, it shouldn't matter, it would just cut it out.
They created in 11 days. I created my own layer script and chat. Yeah. I did it first.
Oh, you have a family?
Yeah, I didn't have that first, but
Oh.
make sure I save it.
Instead of using no, I use nil.
It's weird.
Wow.
I have to
What a novel.
create
And all the
table,
parentheses
or,
are
yeah,
squirrely. And all the squirrely in the parentheses.
Just right click on the table.
Okay. Yeah.
It's the future.
There's an alter command also. You can do that also. Yeah, go ahead.
Objects are jokes.
Arrays
are objects.
I don't like it.
No, you have to-
I can do the whole thing.
Oh, you have to create a table. Because we dropped the table.
So I have to do the first, yeah. Table set.
Why am I
So you're gonna have a All right, you guys got the join key, the inner join.
Oh, let me go back.
How far? Bryce, you got it?
Bryce already has a node thing going on.
Oh, really? That's impressive. That is impressive. Did they inquire it and everything?
Of course. Come on now.
That is.
Yeah, Bryce doesn't,
Well, we were basic coding. He was.
he was going hard into it. He's like, I did one of the queries and then I just want to make the node app.
Can you look at the solution or something? That's exactly like the solution. That is a solution that I have. That's a perfectly
I suck that out.
Exactly how I did the.
Yeah, everything is a
the
function.
grade day. That's exactly how I did the grade day.
Everything is a nice function, isolated. Like it. Awesome. All right, so,
Well then, I guess.
huh?
You talking well then.
I hope so. It looks like you already know this stuff. All right, so I'm going to complete this query and then we'll look in the homework part. Where albums, what's my primary key? Let's say albums dot art dot singer is equal to, and then I'm looking for a singer. Search for the Beatles.
You have to click next.
Okay.
It should.
And so I need the same from both of these tables, and songs dot singer is equal to also. So in both the tables I want to get rows for this singer. Okay, let's go ahead and run this and we'll order by. So this gives me, this kind of combines both of these tables. There are too many rows. You can select which ones to see, but so that you guys can see, I selected everything. So it's combining both tables and getting me data for just this artist, whatever I'm searching for. We saw the order by. Randy was asking about it. Matt completed it. We can sort this also. So I can say order by, let's say albums dot release here. Albums dot, is it release here? So this is going to sort by year now. Ascending order. So start from 1963, goes up to 1996. Okay. Again, it's the same join query. You're combining two tables. So I'm saying select star from the first table, inner join the second one. Okay, two tables. Then we remember the keyword on. What am I combining these tables on? So I'm combining where the singer name and the year, the release year are same. Okay, but I need to tell the query which singer am I searching for. So I'm searching for the Beatles. Okay, and then you can use the order by to sort them in ascending order for the year. Annie, did you get your import working?
Not completely.
Okay, because your table, your column names, the columns are not the exact same as what the data is. Yes. Join them on?
So you joined them on Singer.
Yes.
So why do you have to specify both the album singer
Well, you
and
need
song
to
singer
singer in your where statement.
You need to have.
Should either one work.
Oh yeah, it should actually. Let's try that. Yeah.
Yeah, mainly like.
Yeah, is it giving me the same number of rows? Hopefully. Yeah. What I tend to do is I tend to write my queries like more exhaustive. Like I have like every possible condition because I'm like some row might escape and then I might get the extra result. So I put in things that are more common. Okay. But that's the main concept is the two tables. We saw how to import the data. Okay, 5,000 rows. Then we created a second table and then we combine the table. The important part is you need to realize that what are the commonalities between the two tables. Over here, singer was one, Position is also another one, so you can change this to position. So give me artist data which was number 5, okay, which was ranked 5. So you will combine on the rank or the position. I'm calling it position. Scores, you probably won't be seeing the scores as common because the scores are different, right? The first one, the songs column, the score is on the song, individual song, and in the albums, the score is on the complete album. So you won't actually see a common. So the common would be position, singer, and actually those two only, singer and position. Those are the only two common things. Okay, I'm going to upload the code for it. The code is again Node.js Inquirer that we saw on Saturday. Go ahead and take these queries and put it in your Node.js code and run them. But you should get exactly the same data that we see on the screen. Okay. Thursday we will start Express. It's kind of getting difficult. Yeah. So please make sure you practice this, and Nick will introduce the homework for next week. It's on SQL, and then we'll see you on Thursday. Let's see. Yes. No, order by the source. That's why you see I kind of show it in multiple lines.
That's the singer.
Where do you need to live?
South Carolina.
That would be the
Real shit. My daughter's 12 months like,
I did it for
I'm sorry, but your daughter's. Like it's on you right now, you're 12.
Alright. For hey guys, so I'm gonna go over the homework real quick.
Sorry, we're all standing up. Hello.
That's okay. Hello. So for the MySQL homework, so we're gonna be you guys are going to be creating an app for which you can essentially buy products from. So similar to Amazon, but we call it Bamazon. So the absolute minimal requirement that we want you guys to do is create like a customer version. And so what this will look like is, can you guys see that, or is it too small? Perfect. So